In this video, I'll be talking about CSS pagination or pagination. Okay, so let me add more space to my HTML. So inside my HTML, I'll create a HTML basic structure. Then inside this structure, let me create an UL, which is unordered list UL. Then inside, I will now create my lists. Okay, just add some list, Let me just say something like I think should I use ordered? Ordered will just number it, but let me use unordered so I can. Okay, let me just use normal list. Okay, inside the list I will add a href element. Okay, then I will now put hash inside the destination so it will not go anywhere. Then, so first of all, I will add this. Let me illustrate it for so you understand what we meant. Okay, let me put this let me just do this and then I will explain. Okay, not inside this place, but supposed to be inside this anchor. Okay, it's supposed to work here. Why is it not? This is href. How about G? Let me refresh. How about this sign? Why is the sign not working? Why is it not working? Why is it not working? How about this one? This one working, but it's having underscore, which is not what I want. Okay, that underscore because of the it's a kind of a clickable. That's why it have that. Okay, so I can remove it with a test decoration, setting it to none. Okay, let me change this one. Let me change this one to this one. Okay, think this one is okay. Then coming here now, what I will now do, I will not duplicate. Okay, I will not duplicate. If I duplicate it, I can still change one or two there. Just change a few things, especially the content of the um, um, ahref element. So what I will now do, I will highlight it, then duplicate it. Let me sub to 6. 6 will be okay, I think so. This 5 remain 1. Okay, then the last one I will now let me add more one. Or should I leave this 1 2 3? So having 4, let me make it, let me also add one. Not, let me just also add one. I'll make it so this one will not be, then this one now will turn the opposite side. Okay, so what I will now do, I will edit these things inside this this greater than, then replace it with numbers. Okay, so this one 3 and this one 4, this one 5. Okay, you can see the effect. Okay, this is exactly what I want. Then I will now link my external CSS file. I will link my external CSS, which is, I will say link dot slash CSS enter. Okay, so I can now do anything I want to do in my CSS. Then I will need to give this this unordered list, I need to give it a class. Okay, I just want to give it a class. Or is it linear? Let me just give it a class. I prefer class. I can use but let me just use that class. You can use an element selector if you want, but for the sake of this, we can just follow what I'm doing. I just want to use class. I want to give the class name a pagination. Pagination. That's the name, pagination. Wow. Okay, so having done this now, we have linked our what is it called? We have linked our external CSS file. So we will be moving to our CSS file. Okay, so do one or two. So inside this our CSS file, now what I want to do, I want it to be in straight line, and I will remove all these dots here and all this underline, so so that it will be okay for me to illustrate what I really want to illustrate. Okay, so I will call the class, this class, which is this unordered list class, say dot pagination dot pagi. Okay, let me say pagination dot pagination pagination pagination. Okay, then I open a declaration block. Inside the declaration block, I will say display. I will say display. Inside this display, I will say inline, so that it will be in straight line. So I will say inline. I will say inline. No, why is it? No, why is it this way? It's supposed to, oh, inline block. If I say block, if I say block, it's already in block. If I say it's already in block, let me say inline block. Let me see what it looks like. Why is it behaving this way? Mm, mm, I want it to line up straight here. I want it to be straight. I want it to line up straight here. Hmm. Think. Um, I think first of all, let me just add in some margin and padding, then give it border. Then when I will then target, I'll use pagination, which is the class, and then target the list, which is this list. Okay. Then first of all, add margin and padding first, and set it to 0, 0. Let me set it to 0, 0 first. Let me start from there. Let me set it to 0, 0. 0. Okay, then let me say padding. Set the padding to 0. I think 0 will be okay, so it will not be more. It will come, yeah, to shift to the side. Okay, then imagine this one have replaced the up one, and then the down one just okay. So then I will now give. Let me just give it a border. I don't know whether this is. Should I give this border, or should I say this thing before I give? Let me just give the border. So whenever I do the changes, it will also follow suit. Let me say 1 pixel. Let me give it a solid. Let me give it a solid. Which color will I give it now? You can see the border. Let me give it a solid. Let me make it 2 pixels, so it's a little bit bold. 2 pixel. I think this one makes sense. Then let me give it solid. Or if I use insert, it will not be visible. If I use insert black, let me see what it will look like. I just want something to look more better. Let me say black. Insert black. It's almost like the same thing until you increase the size of the border. You will see the effect of this. It looks almost the same thing like solid, but it's different. Okay, so the next now let me target this list itself. So I will say dot pagination, give space, the white space, and then say I for the list, and open declaration block. Then inside I will say display inline. Let me see whether this one will really affect it. Yeah, display inline. Yeah, this is exactly what I want. It's now inline. This is where I think this is place that is supposed to, the thing will have effect. Okay, now what I will now do, let me remove this. Don't think this border, the border is okay, but let me just remove the pixel. Let me reduce it to 1, so it will look a little bit nice. 1 pixel is okay now. Let me change this color. Let me reduce this. Okay, so first of all, let me just let me do something. Let me hold it and express something. In normal browser, you can see this kind of stuff in browser. This pagination is mostly used when your page, or maybe things that are to load many, kind of, there are hundreds and thousands of them. So you have this kind of formation. It's called pagination. When you can, when if you use it to when you use it in full development, you can actually make it add some functionalities to it. When you click this arrow, or this when you click this arrow, if you click this arrow, it will bring out maybe from let's say 10 to 15, or from maybe say from um let's say 10 to 20, or 20 to 40. So you can now select. That's what this thing really does. But our aim in this video is just to illustrate its how to, not how to use it actually, but how to design it. We are inside CSS, how to actually design this um pagination. Okay, how to actually design it, position it where it's supposed to be. That's our aim in this video. Okay, so you can actually put any symbol you want here. Okay, you can actually put a symbol you want, but this symbol actually represents, that I put here, actually represents, shows that is a kind of moving, kind of going forward or going backward in what you are searching. Okay, So having said that, I will move again. Let me just create I think let me having explained this, I want to do something. So for doing that, I really need to push it to the center, and I'll use div. I really need div here because it's very important. I will need div. Let me add that div here. After the body, let me say div. Inside this div, then let me copy this. Now I need to put it inside div. Control X, then put it inside div. Control V. Okay, so it will be inside div, so I can easily maneuver it. Okay, so this div now, I'm not sure. Let me just, since there's only one div, which is element, I will just use that. I will just call the div element. I'll use this element selector by calling that div element. I will say div, open a declaration block. Inside the div, I will now, let me just say test align. Test align, let me say center, so it can move to center. You can see that it's now in center. Okay, I think this is one of the major things that I really need to do. So it's now in center. So I really want okay, I think so. Let me just I think I've done what I really want to do with div. Even if I need any other functionality, I can actually do that. You can actually add background color to this div and it will affect them. Let me just say background color. Let me say background color. You can give, if you give it something like red now, you can see it will affect, but we don't need this kind of background color. It's not, it doesn't make, to me it doesn't make sense. It might make sense for some other person, but to me it doesn't make sense to me. Okay, so what I will now do, I want to give this, let me call the eighth element, which is this ahref element. So what I will now do, I'll use pagination because I really want to target it. But using it now and using shard, I think I'll use white space because pagination and then white space. Okay, pagination white space, which is the shadow. It's not actually shadow, but a kind of combinator which is named white space. Okay, let me space and use anchor. So now open a declaration block. Then let me give the text a color. First of all, let me do I really need to do this now? I really need to remove this. Let me first of all start by removing these things. All this first of all, let me remove that decoration. All this some of the things that I don't need in the body. Let me start by doing that. Let me say test decoration. Where is it? Test decoration. Let me set it to none. Okay, then you can see those dash under it have disappeared. Okay, the thing have look more better and it makes more sense. Okay, so the next thing I will do now, let me give those things colors. Let me just give them color. Let me say color. I really need to give them a color that will be very dark because this had it been, I could have just add bold, so it will be a little bit bold, but it doesn't matter. Just for illustration, let me just give it a color of let me say azure. Let me use azure. It's white, but this white will not help us now. I might change it later. Let me just leave it at, just give it at black. Let me just leave it, or let me just say use a color that is something like golden rod. I think it makes sense. It's more visible here somehow. So the next thing I'll be doing now, I'll be adding well, what if I do it this way now? Let me pad it so it will come down small. Let me give it padding. Let me say padding. Let me give it 8 pixels and see what it looks like. 8 pixels by 16, which is four side. 8 pixels by 16 pixels, and see what it looks like. Wow, perfect. See how it's spaced out. Okay, so having done that now, I think another thing I should, let me just give it a border so that the border will divide each of them. Just divide each of them. So to do that, let me just say border. I think using border right will be more better, so it will cover every one of them. If I use left, it will jump the first one and jump this one. So let me just use border light. Say border border right. Where is it? Let me just select this one. Border right. Let me give it 1 pixel thickness will be on. Let me just make it 1.5. Let me see how it looks like. 1.5 pixels, and then let me make it solid. Solid is more visible. Okay, you can see the effect. Okay, it looks more better now. Somehow. Let me give it a color of let me give this border black, see what it looks like, how the color combination will look like. It looks somehow off. It looks somehow off. Let me leave it with a default, which is with its own color. Okay, then if I give this thing now a border, normal, this normal border now, how will it look like now? I think, let me leave it that way. I think it's better this way. You can see, you can hover over it now. You can actually select what you want. Okay, then let me close this one. Then let me call this pagination. Don't add. Let me just add. Let me say. Let me just remove this last border because there's no how this one will not have any this thing, but this ones will have. But this one have border, but here we have border. Here we not have border. So I will remove this one so it will look more nice. So what I will now do to do that, I'll use a pseudo class. So pseudo class, to do that, I will call what's it called, class and the elements. So this the element I'm targeting, the list. Then inside that list, I'll use I will now call the pseudo class first. So the pseudo class will be the last child, and the last child will be targeting this, what's it called, this, the last child of which element, which is, I will say, this a tag. Let me give space between them, a tag. Okay, then I think that's all. Then I will not open a declaration block. Inside the declaration block, I will not say border. Let me say border. I will set it to none, not new, but none. So that last border will go. So you can see it is now gone. I think I've gotten a little bit of what I want. Okay, so I want to push this thing. Let me see how I can push this thing. I want to push this thing down now, this test, so it will come down a bit. So I think to do that, this thing is inside pagination, which is this. Where is that? Our another list, which is our pagination. Let me give it, let me say, if I give it let me see whether if I give it padding, how it will look like. Let me say padding. Let me say padding top. Let me say padding top. If I give it say something like 20 pixels, maybe 20 px, how will it look like? It does not actually have any effects. Why? How about 2em? It's not actually having any effect. Why is it that I mixed the I'm not doing it in right place? What I'm actually targeting is the list, which is wrong. So I'm supposed to do that inside the pagination class, which is the another list itself, because all these things are the list inside another list. I'm supposed to do that inside the pagination class, which is this place. Let me try that. Okay, I set the padding to 0, but let me reset it. Okay, let me leave paddings, normal padding, and give another padding. Say let me put semicolon here. Let me put semicolon here. So I'm putting semicolon here, clean one, then enter. Then I will not say padding. I'll say padding top and see whether what will happen. Let me say 20 pixel. Yeah, this one is what I need. Is now dropped a bit. Let me make it say 25 pixels. I think it was more better. Yeah, I think this also it will help us to illustrate this thing better. Okay. I think what I want to do now, let me just try and give this thing, but I want it to look somehow. So let me just try this out. Where is this is our pagination. Pagination is for this one. Okay, let me try and give this pagination a border. I've already give a border and make it insert black. Okay, because I removed it. That I could have said, because there's supposed to be a border there. Yes, but it's not in alignment. What will I do to it now? I'll have to drop it. Let me give it the pattern I give to this place. Let me drop it. Let me see whether it will drop. Just use margin so that the border will drop. Let me see what happens. Let me see whether it will make sense. let's say padding inside margin. Let me give it, let me say 20 pixels and see what it looks like. It's moving together, which is not what I want. It's actually the pagination itself. What if I come down here now? Where is this place? Inside this, because this line, this border line is giving, I give it to this anchor, that separate anchor tags. I really want to use that border. I want to use it to make this thing look more nice. But if we can't figure it out, for the sake of time, we might skip it and leave it. Okay, but we'll try first. This padding. Padding. This is a border, and I used border right. Okay. It's for the vertical ones, and it cannot. What if I, instead of border right, let me say border, normal border, and see what it will look like. Yeah, this is what I want. Let me remove this one. This one makes more sense to me. Yeah, let me remove this one. Where is it? This one. There's this border here that I added here now. Yeah, this one, I'll remove it. I'll remove this border. I don't think it's necessary now. Let me remove it. Okay. Then now I will set this margin to 0 pixels. 0 pixels. I think I've gotten what I want. This is what I want. Then I will remove this code, because it's affecting this our last child. Okay, it's restricting it from having the same property. So what I will now do, I will just highlight it and remove it, so that one can inherit what others have. Okay, so having done that, now what I will now do, I will now go to this this is our anchor, and let me give it, if I give it a background color now, how will it look like now? Okay, let me see how that will look like. Let me say background color. That will help me to know what I will do in the hovering. Let me say background color. Background color. Let me give it a blue. What does it look like? Yeah, perfect. I think this makes a little bit sense. So I will not add that color here to look somehow. What I will now do, I will now use it inside hovering, inside hover, which is a pseudo class. Inside here, what I will now do, I will now target this anchor, since the anchor tag is the one that accept this kind of color that I want. So what I will now do, I will now call it by doing this. Now we'll say dot pagination, which is our class name. Then I will only target. Let me just use child. No. Let me just use child pagination child. Wait, is it its child? Let me find out before I make a whole lot of mistake. No, it's not its child. If I want to use this child now, I have to type in list. I have to use this anchor, type list. I have to do it this way. Then give space. I have to give space. Then do it again before I can get to its child. But then what I will now, let me just know waste goes long process. Let me just use the white combinator and then open a declaration block. Inside, I will now say no, it's not yet complete. I need to add I want to add a pseudo class, which is hover. Let me say hover. Yeah, it's not complete. So inside, I will now say background color. Let me give it let me use RGBA. Okay, RGBA. So the color will not be that pure blue. Let me give this one a value of 0. 0. I want to use blue. Let me give this one a value of 0, and then let me give blue 225. Let me 220, no, 225. And then inside the alpha, that's where I want to manipulate the color. Let me give it, if I give it 1 now, let's see what happens. It's very blue, so I will use alpha to reduce the intensity of the blue. So I will say I'll start from 0.1. Let me see the effect. Yeah, it's more fainter, but it's too faint. Let me use 0.4. It's a little bit better. That about 0.6. A little bit fainter, but if we use pure blue, it will be very, very thick. You can't even see what is written, what the text inside. So let me add another property and value inside the hovering. Let me increase the font size. The font size now will affect only the text, which is those numbers. Let me just say, let me increase it to 2em and see the effects. I think this one makes sense a bit, just for illustration purpose. Okay, so this is it for our the main one. Let me just add another thing. I just like I like adding this transition duration, so it will not just be too this thing, so it will add more to make more sense, let me just add inside this. Let me add transition duration. Transition duration. Let me give it in seconds. Let me give it say 3 seconds. Let me see the effect. Yeah, I think this one makes sense. Let's see. 3 seconds is too is not okay. How about 2 seconds? How about 2 seconds? Yeah, okay. I think I like the way the thing is animating. So this is it for CSS Pagination. I hope you enjoyed the video. See you in the next one. Thank you.